Hi, my name's Alan. Let me tell you my story of growing up as a girl. My parents gave me the name Amelia without finding out why I wasn't like everyone else. My parents had to think about who I was. Was I a boy or a girl? My mother wanted a daughter so badly that she rejected the advice of all the pediatricians and said that everything would resolve itself by the time I was 18. Because of my mother's stupid outlook, my life began very differently from that of other children. In kindergarten, I worried my teachers. And then, when the children in my age group began to grow up and become interested in the opposite sex, there was a lot of trouble. Not only girls, but boys were interested in me. But they couldn't believe what they saw under my girl's panties. I tried to go to the toilet alone, but that wasn't always possible. At home, I complained to my mother that the other kids were not playing with me and asked her what was wrong with me. Mom hugged me and said, "Don't worry, everything will be okay, and you will definitely become a princess." I liked what Mom said, and this calmed me down for a while. Primary education ended for me after the next parent-teacher conference when my parents became upset. The teacher asked them, "Why does this he/she go into the girls' dressing room?" After that question, my mother abruptly left that gathering, as she described the meeting. But more importantly, she didn't get it. She continued to braid my hair, buy cute dresses for me, as well as lots of dolls. Then my father abruptly left us because of their disagreement about my gender. Now I was completely lonely. Dad was my idol. He was athletic, strong, and courageous. He saw a real boy in me. We played tennis together as well as other types of sports. After he left, time passed, but all I had were bows, hairpins, and dolls. I felt trapped by all this. I watched with envy as the boys played football in the schoolyard. I was drawn to their sports activity with unexpected force. Then, school began. For the first day of school, I looked charming. My cute hair and designer clothes made me look like a Barbie doll. But during the first physical education class, I showed my athleticism by playing ball with great skill. I pulled up on the uneven bars harder than anyone. I did it just like any boy, easily and confidently. The teacher couldn't believe my abilities. He wondered how such power could hide behind such an angelic appearance. But even with that question in his mind, he quickly asked me to join the school sports team. In anticipation of my mother's indignation, I didn't tell her anything about it. Mom signed me up for the school choir, where I participated without much enthusiasm. Remembering the events on the sports field, I avoided close contact with my classmates. For the rest of the school, I was an excellent athlete, a capable student, and an exemplary soloist in the choir. Everyone was pleased with me. By the age of 13, I had a young man's figure with narrow hips and broad shoulders. They explained this all very simply to me. They said that my regular workouts and sports activities had developed certain muscle groups. 2 years later, I noticed that there was a struggle going on inside my body. On the one hand, I had a feminine appearance with a clean face and thick long hair, but my breasts didn't develop. On the other, I felt like a man. I was gaining physical strength and a desire to look at girls that was disturbing to me. I had no one to talk to about all of this. There was no one to whom I could open up and ask for advice. Mother went with me to all my doctor's appointments and foolishly hoped that everything would resolve itself. After my last conversation with her, I finally accepted what she wanted me to be and even began to use cosmetics. After high school, I went to college. It was much easier for me there. I regularly went to lectures. During class breaks, I didn't speak to anyone. Very soon, my fellow students let me know their opinion of me. To them, I was a nerd and a bore. This actually made me feel better. Once in a library reading room, a guy from my class, Alex, sat with me. He looked at me differently than everyone else. At first, we studied for our classes and just talked. Then he asked me to go out on a date with him. We walked for a long time and I realized that I had fallen in love. I didn't think I was different from everyone else anymore. We began to get together often. We went to the movies, visited cafes, and had lots of fun. When he kissed me, my heart pounded in my chest, as if it was trying to jump out of my body. Soon Alex wanted us to be intimate. I was not afraid of him, I was afraid of myself. I didn't know how the other person who lived inside me was going to behave. This story ended soon. Alex came to me one evening while my mother was working the night shift. We were alone. When the last cloud came off and everything was about to happen, I looked into Alex's eyes. There I read horror and shock. Under the push-up bra, he didn't find a magnificent chest. And when he saw my excited manhood, he almost fainted. When he calmed down a bit, he said nasty things to me and left, slamming the door loudly. After this incident, I moved to another city where I took on a man's appearance. I cut my hair short like a man's and finally substituted trousers for skirts. So at this point, I made up my mind to become a man. This decision helped me to feel at home in my whole body, and I began to gain more self-confidence. Eventually, I went to see a doctor where I was examined. After the ultrasound, the doctor told me that without a doubt I was a man, and that all I needed was an operation to remove uniform internal female genitals. The resentment I had towards my mother was very slow in passing. She stole my childhood because of her own desires. I found my father. He was glad to see me and was happy to do everything he could to help me become a well-adjusted man. The operation was successful and I was given hormone therapy. Now I shave like all men, and that makes me happy. My name's Alan now. I'm married, my wife's expecting a child, and life is good. I want all women to be sympathetic mothers and to take care not to ruin their children's lives because of their own wishes. If you enjoyed watching this video, then press the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay tuned for upcoming episodes. If you want your story to be told, feel free to write to us at the email shown below.